San Diego stands as a warning to the rest of the nation. It proves that a booming economy and perfect weather are no shield against systemic inequality. Today, this is a city of dualities, multimillion-dollar views overlooking makeshift tents. The data tells a story of a city in distress. Over 82,000 people homeless, more than half of them completely unsheltered, and nearly 16% in poverty. San Diego is in the midst of a defining crisis. It begs a fundamental question. Can America's finest city truly claim that title if it leaves thousands of its own behind? The answer isn't found in the sunshine. It's found in the statistics. The humanitarian emergency. The most visible symptom of this crisis is the staggering rate of homelessness. According to the 2024 point-in-time count, the San Diego region is home to 82,400 individuals experiencing homelessness. This figure is not merely a statistic. It represents a population larger than many small American towns, entirely displaced within the county. What makes San Diego's situation particularly dire is the lack of shelter for these individuals. Of those 82,000 people, 47,760 are unsheltered, living on sidewalks, in canyons, or in vehicles. This results in an unsheltered rate of 57.6%, significantly higher than cities with colder climates like New York or Boston, where right to shelter laws exist. In the city of San Diego alone, the epicenter of the crisis, thousands are sleeping rough every night. The visual impact is undeniable, with encampments spreading beyond the traditional containment zone of East Village into residential neighborhoods and canyons. The demographics of this population challenge common stereotypes. It is not solely a crisis of addiction or mental health, though those are factors. A growing segment of San Diego's homeless population consists of seniors, individuals over the age of 55, who have been priced out of their homes after a lifetime of working. Recent data indicates that nearly one-third of the unsheltered population is elderly, and the number of people living in vehicles has seen a sharp uptick, rising by 7% in recent counts. These are the hidden homeless, parking in safe lots or residential streets, clinging to the last rung of the economic ladder. The economic squeeze, poverty, and the cost of living. To understand why thousands are ending up on the street, one must look at the math of survival in San Diego. The poverty rate in the city stands at approximately 15.7%, a figure that might seem moderate until it is contextualized with the cost of living. The real cost measure, a more accurate gauge of economic hardship than the federal poverty line, suggests that a family of four in San Diego needs an annual income of over $116,000 just to meet basic needs without assistance. This creates a massive missing middle. Families who earn too much to qualify for government aid, but far too little to afford market-rate housing. In San Diego, 58% of renters are rent-burdened, meaning they spend more than 30% of their gross income on housing. For many, this percentage is far higher, leaving almost no buffer for emergencies. A single medical bill, a car repair, or a lost month of wages is enough to push a household from an apartment into a vehicle and eventually onto the street. The housing market itself acts as a gatekeeper of inequality, with median home prices often exceeding $1 million and average rents for a two-bedroom apartment demanding an hourly wage of nearly $47. The service workers who power the city's tourism economy are effectively locked out of the housing market. This economic displacement is the engine driving the homelessness crisis, proving that in San Diego, poverty is not just a lack of income, it is a lack of viable housing. Tie-ons, the crime paradox and public safety. The intersection of poverty and homelessness inevitably leads to discussions of crime. San Diego presents a statistical paradox. It historically maintains one of the lowest violent crime rates among major U.S. cities, with a rate of approximately 9.12 per 1,000 residents. Homicides and violent assaults are statistically lower here than in comparable cities like Oakland or Los Angeles. However, statistics often fail to capture the feeling of safety and the reality of property crime, which stands at roughly 29.7 per 1,000 residents. The crisis of crime in San Diego is largely one of quality of life offenses and property theft, often inextricably linked to the despair of the streets. Residents report high frequencies of car break-ins, larceny, and vandalism. Furthermore, the perception of danger has escalated. The visibility of open-air drug use and the unpredictable behavior associated with untreated mental illness in encampments have created an atmosphere of unease in downtown districts. Recent data trends also point to specific areas of concern. While overall violence is low, hate crime saw a worrying 9% increase in recent year-over-year comparisons, and vehicle thefts remain a persistent plague. The crisis here is not a wave of violence, but a degradation of public order. It is a friction caused when extreme poverty collides with public spaces, leaving residents feeling that the social contract, the guarantee of safe, clean, and accessible public areas, has been broken. A city at the crossroads. San Diego is now attempting to pivot. The city has implemented controversial bans on camping in public spaces, attempting to clear sidewalks while simultaneously trying to expand safe sleeping sites and shelter capacity. Yet, the math remains unforgiving. With the unsheltered population of 47,760 far outstripping the available shelter beds, the city is playing a game of musical chairs with human lives. The crisis is compounded by a fragmented response system. While the city and county governments pour millions into outreach and affordable housing, the rate of people falling into homelessness often outpaces the rate at which they are housed. For every 10 people the system successfully houses, more fall into homelessness due to the crushing economic pressures discussed earlier. The sunny facade versus the shadowed reality. San Diego has long held the title of one of the safest and most desirable places to live in the United States. With a median household income hovering around $111,000 for the city proper, the surface-level data suggests a booming economy fueled by biotech, tourism, and military defense. Yet, these aggregate numbers mask a deep and widening fissure in the socioeconomic fabric of the region. The city is currently navigating a period of profound instability, where the cost of entry into this paradise has become insurmountable for thousands of its own residents. The narrative of America's finest city is being challenged by the visual and statistical reality of the streets. While tourists flock to the Gaslamp Quarter in Balboa Park, local infrastructure is straining under a socioeconomic collapse that leaves the most vulnerable exposed. The crisis is not just about those without homes. It is about the structural economic pressures that are pushing working-class families to the brink, creating a cycle of poverty that feeds directly into the region's homelessness and public safety challenges. Conclusion. Imagine a city defined by endless summer, pristine beaches, and a reputation as America's finest city. San Diego projects an image of carefree prosperity, a coastal paradise where the American dream feels within reach. But pull back the curtain on this sun-drenched facade, and a starkly different reality emerges. Beneath the postcard-perfect exterior lies a metropolis fracturing under the weight of a humanitarian disaster. From the shadows of the I-5 underpasses to the tents lining downtown sidewalks, a trifecta of crises, homelessness, crushing poverty, and the persistent shadow of crime, is reshaping the city's soul. This is not the San Diego seen in travel brochures. This is a city fighting for its future.